Please make a tutorial how to set up terminal styling like yours.
Thank you so much for this comment, Jelle. You are the first great comment underneath any of my videos, so this video is dedicated to you. Welcome back, cypherpunks, to the series Terminally Awesome, where we make our terminals awesome. In today's first episode, we'll be customizing our terminal prompt. What is the prompt, you ask? Well, the prompt is where you type your text when you are using the terminal. And customizations could include something like showing the current working directory that you're in, showing the username you have, the host name of the machine that you're using. This is especially useful if you're SSHing into a particular server or managing multiple servers, no less. Then you always want to be on the correct system when you execute something. Or to show the information about a particular Git repository, what repo you're in and what branch you are using. And there are many other things that you can show and customize. For example, if you're in a developer environment like Node.js, which Node.js version is currently active, and so on and so forth. We will be using to customize our terminals Starship.rs. I love Starship.rs. It's written in Rust, meaning it's blazingly fast. It's usable on any platform, whether it's Linux, macOS, Windows. You can use it in any shell, whether you like to bash, ZSH or fish. And last but not least, it's very lightweight and easy to configure. And there are many options that you can take advantage of. This is the website of Starship.rs, and since I don't really know what operating system or shell you are currently using, I won't go into too much detail of how you can install it. However, let's check out the Getting Started guide, because in my opinion, the website is very, very informative and will get you started in no time. So if you want to install, here are the prerequisites. You need to install a nerd font, for example, Fira Code nerd font. This can be easily searched on any search machine. Don't use Google. So you just need to install something like Fira Code nerd font for your machine. Once this is taken care of, you can install Starship. And again, here we have very informative unfoldables. For example, if you're on Linux, depending on the distribution that you are using, there are install commands, or you can curl the install script. For my particular use case, I'm using NixOS, by the way. So this would be to install Starship. However, if you're also using NixOS, stick around to the end of the video, because I will actually show my Nix configuration for Starship. And it's not this one, I can tell you. I'm just assuming that most of my viewers would be using a more beginner-friendly Linux distribution, something like Ubuntu, or maybe an Arch-based distribution like Manjaro, or even Arch itself. So just copy the command here and install the package like you normally would. But even if you're not using Linux yet, you really should, because it's open source.
And I've got to say, in all honesty, it's the biggest piece of
awesome. For example, for macOS, you can install Starship via Homebrew, which is the missing package manager for macOS, or just use the curl command, copy paste this into your terminal, and Starship along all of the things you need will be installed. I'm not gonna cover Windows, because if you're using Windows,
it's time to stop!
Now that you have Starship installed, we can focus on setting it up in the shell that you're using. Again, we have instructions for all the shells that you could encounter on the various distributions. For my purposes, I'm using Bash. I would follow the Bash instruction, which just means I have to add this line at the very end of my bash rc, which is in my users directory. If you're using ZSH, I think this is a popular option as well, the line is very similar, just with initZSH, and you put this in your ZSH-RC. And with that, we can move to the final step, the most important step, where we are configuring our Starship.
All engines running, ready for takeoff.
So You can either learn how to configure Starship yourself or use even one of the presets where one of the community members has pre-built something that you can simply reuse.
It's free real estate.
Let's just take a quick look into configuration. Like most terminal applications or things on open source systems that you are configuring, we are creating a file in our .config folder. So this is living under the user directory. We have a .config folder, and inside of it, we create the Starship toml. Toml is a file format that is basically some syntax for the computer to understand what we are putting there. So here we can get some completions even based on the schema of the configuration file. We can add a new line, and all of the options are displayed on this page. So for example, if you want to customize the prompt, how information is shown, then these are the options that you have available, along with a description of what they do and the default values if you do not specify them yourself. So this is an example of how you can format your prompt and all that good stuff. And as you can see on this page here, I'm scrolling down the sidebar. There are so many things that you can tweak here and configure to how you would like. For my purposes, for example, I'm a very big fan of bun. Bun is a JavaScript or TypeScript runtime, and it also has some configuration options for Starship.rs. If you're a little bit lazy and you don't want to do all of the heavy lifting yourself and get just started with a preset of somebody else, here are the presets. So for example, if you want to use this one, you can apparently just copy paste this line and it will create your toml file like this. And as you can see, there are many great symbols. We have the Debian logo here. We have an Arch-based logo right here, even Amazon. And most importantly, of course, NixOS is also present. Speaking of NixOS, I teasered this a little bit earlier. I'm using Starship as a NixOS module in my home manager configuration. Let's check it out. So this is my Starship configuration. I wrote it in such a way that I have it as an option and I can simply enable the entire program alongside the configuration with Starship enable equals true. So here in my terminal tool belt, which is another option I have defined for NixOS, I'm always enabling the Starship program. And then I'm defining the actual configuration for Starship. So I'm saying if Starship program enable true is there, I want to have this code execute. What I'm defining here is the home manager option for the Starship program. I'm saying that I want to enable Starship. This will install it alongside all of the required dependencies. I'm saying I want to use the bash integration, so it will automatically set the eval line at the end of my bash RC. And instead of a toml configuration, I have a Nix syntax-based configuration where I can say for all of the different attributes that we saw previously on the Starship documentation, how I want them to be shown. So for example, the AWS style should be this one, the command duration style should be this, and so on and so forth. You can really see that there is not a whole lot of configuration going on. But even without a whole lot of configuration, I think my terminal is looking pretty good.
Hey, that's pretty good.
So for example, here I am in the directory for my OpenSource-Odyssey website. And by the way, if you want to see more about this one, there's a whole playlist where I programmed this website from start to finish, where it shows me the name of the directory. And then I have a Git integration where I'm showing that I'm on the main branch. The version in my package.json is 1.0 here. I'm using Node version 23.11.0. And hey, will you check this out? It also shows me how long the previous command took to execute. So if I now leave this file open for a little bit longer and quit out of it, you can see that this took 6 seconds. So there you have it. Starship.rs is the way to make any terminal look amazing. If you want to see other terminal tools or have questions about how I make my terminal look so awesome, just leave a comment below like Jelle did, and I'll post a video on it soon. Also, I would really appreciate a like and a subscription to help hack the algorithm, and I'll see you in the next one. Onwards, cypherpunks.